been on target. The promising signs once again from Nerazzurri. Ball still alive. A possibility here for Inter to counter. That's well nodded on by Barella, but Esposito unable to chase it down. Cercati getting his body in the way and just ushering the ball out for a Suzuki goal kick. Suzuki clad in lime green, wearing number 31 on his back. Half Ghanaian, half Japanese. Plays for the Japan national side. He grew up there, joined Parma in 2024. He's been a mainstay, their undisputed number 1. It's out here with number 14, Valeri. Squares it behind him to Strefezza, who tries to come inside Barella. But between Barella and Bisek, they're able to tackle the Brazilian, who's joined Parma on loan in February, and since then has been in amongst the goals. He's a direct player, likes to cut inside. Bisek with the throw, up the wing towards Thuram, but overcooks it. Nicolucci covers and makes the tackle. Parma still in possession inside their own half, just passing the ball among their back three. And into midfield now, Nicolucci has it. Options to the right of him, where he finds Del Prato. Del Prato inside to Cercati, now across to Troilo. He just tries to fire one in the line, up to, between the lines, where Strefezza picks it up. Strefezza, nice pass out to Valeri. This is a crossing opportunity down the left. And it was a cross, but it was well blocked by Bisek for a Parma corner. Valeri, 27-year-old Italian, known for his set-piece delivery and his ability on crosses. And if they can get the ball to him more often, it's going to trouble Inter down that left side. Strefezza, since the start of the game, has been busy, and Valeri looks like a good option down that left side. Strefezza, it's the one walking over to take this corner. Right-footed on the left side, so an in-swinger. The Brazilian wears number 7. The referee just wants to have a word with a few Parma defenders, Parma attackers there, just making sure that they're not encroaching on Jan Sommer's space too much. Seems to be happy with everything, Bonacina, so corner's ready to be taken. Strefezza, good delivery into the 6-yard box, where it's punched clear and cleared still further by Zielinski. Parma have a throw just inside the Inter half. Zielinski in clearing that bouncing ball outside the penalty box. Looks like he might have hurt himself. Just saw a replay of that punch by Jan Sommer. He really did well because he had to come through a crowd of bodies. Wouldn't have been easy to track that ball onto his fist, but the Swiss keeper, 37 years old, incredibly experienced, has won titles in his native Switzerland and in Germany, and obviously in Italy as well. One of the best goalkeepers in the game still at these advanced years. He might be in it at a bit of action soon as Parma look to build another attack. And die inside to Keita. Keita squares it right to Nicolucci, who is able to get the ball forward. It's on the touchline, inside to Pellegrino. Pellegrino back to Del Prato. Del Prato drops it to Nicolucci. Cercati now has it. Halfway inside the Inter half. Good pressing from Inter, forcing Parma back. Not allowing any passing options behind them that would get their defence turning. But Parma keeping possession alive. And Thuram was a little bit too tight on Lamine Mandela Keita. Defensive midfielder from Belgium wins himself a foul. It's quickly taken, passed out to Cercati and on right wing back, and then they tried to just play it inside to Pellegrino, but the Inter back three got there first, out-muscled the Argentine striker and just let the ball run inside to the goalkeeper. Ball is cleared, Barella chasing, wins himself a throw, possibly a little bit late by Ndai there. He got the ball first, clearly, but his follow-through sent Inter's captain flying acrobatically. He did a full flip there. He looks like he's going to be okay. Emanuele Valeri just pulling Inter's captain to his feet. In the meantime, play has been restarted as we pass the quarter of an hour mark, still goalless. As a result, that would be enough for Inter to secure the Scudetto for this season, but obviously they want to do it with a flourish. Zielinski passes inside to Barella. Barella, blind pass there to absolutely nobody. Coughs up possession. Countering opportunity for Parma if they can get the ball moving quickly. It's out there with Cercati. He has Del Prato ahead of him. The Australian strides forward with the ball, then squares it to Del Prato, who comes back inside, where Troilo picks it up. Number 10, Bernabé, dropping a little bit deeper, picking it up off Troilo, who continues his run forward. Now it's deeper again to Bernabé. Bernabé, left-footed, strokes it out to Ndai, who's got a lot of pitch in front of him, but just lays it into midfield where Keita takes a touch and spins it out to Cercati. Cercati up the wing to Del Prato. Del Prato coming inside now. Tries to feed it through the lines to Nicolucci. He tried the back heel effort. It's bounced through. Now Del Prato with a shooting effort, and he's hit it over the bar. Somewhat fortuitous there as Nicolucci tried the back heel. It went only into Akanji's path, but Akanji's clearance smashed the ball into the on-running Del Prato, who continued his run. Couldn't really get control of the bouncing ball, so sent his shot over the bar. Now though, Inter with a throw in an attacking position, cross from Barella into a great area, to be fair, that corridor of uncertainty, but Zion Suzuki spots it early, comes off his line and claims, rolls the ball out immediately. Parma really not afraid to play. Any manager who spent time with Mikel Arteta will no doubt be the type of possession-orientated, brave kind of football side that Arteta is famous for. Crossfield ball there from left centre-back to right wing is overcooked. Del Prato unable to latch onto the end of it, so Di Marco is able to get into going once again with a throw inside. It's been evenly balanced in these opening exchanges here at the San Siro. Inter have the lion's share of possession, but on a couple of occasions Carlos Cuesta's men have shown that they're no slouches and not to be taken lightly. Bastoni fires the ball into Esposito, but he can't get on the end of it, and the ball runs through for a throw. Pio Esposito, product of the Nerazzurri Academy, got a high potential, the 20-year-old. He's been through some tough moments as well. Most recently, he was the one who missed the potentially decisive penalty against Bosnia in the World Cup playoff. A penalty that condemned Italy to missing their third World Cup in a row. Unthinkable for the four-time champions of the World Cup. But here in his native Inter, he's on familiar ground and looking to help the Nerazzurri, the club of his childhood, to yet another Serie A title. It's been an interesting period in Italian football history. Juventus's dominance of the 2010s is over, so we're seeing a little bit more of the title changing hands over the past 5 years. You've seen AC Milan win the title. Napoli have won 2 in 3 years, first under Luciano Spalletti, and then last season Antonio Conte adding yet another Serie A trophy to his name. He's won titles with Juventus, Inter and now Napoli, and obviously the other 2 titles there were won by Internazionale, Simone Inzaghi, and perhaps a little presumptuous, but it looks like Christian Chivu is going to join the list of Inter title-winning managers if they can get past the prospect of Parma here today, who are countering inside Inter's half. Pass out to the right, Del Prato just to the right of the penalty box, crossing opportunity into the box, and that's poor from Pellegrino. It's a tough volley, that, coming across the entirety of his body and trying to volley it with his left, but the connection was poor and allows Inter to counter straight away. Denzel Dumfries charging down the right, into the box, crosses. It's a poor cross, actually. He wins himself a corner, but he was in acres of space. Rushed the cross, I think, a little bit there, and a little bit lucky to come away with a corner. The third or fourth, I think, corner of the game for the Nerazzurri, and it's going to be taken once again by Federico Di Marco. At 28 years of age, is having a fantastic season. He's got 18 assists, which is the most in Serie A and the joint most in Europe. Corner is taken, left-footed into the 6-yard box, headed, clear, no chance for Di Marco to add to his assists on that occasion, but he tries to play it back to Barella. Barella didn't look like he wanted it and admonishes his fellow Italian for a pass that sent him into a difficult area. Di Marco, another product of the Nerazzurri Academy. Joint top assist maker in Europe alongside Michael Olise at Bayern and Bruno Fernandes at Manchester United. So he's in rarefied air. He's having a fantastic season. In addition to those assists, he's also got 6 goals. He's been a key part of this potentially successful title challenge for the Nerazzurri. Inter pick up the ball in midfield with Zielinski. He turns left and right, shakes off his markers, and then drops it to Bastoni beneath him. Bastoni takes a couple of touches and then fires it out to Bisek. Bisek opens up and down the wing to Dumfries. Dumfries inside to Barella. Barella turns and it's back into Manuel Akanji inside the centre circle. Inter building patiently up the pitch, forcing Parma back, but just throwing away possession a little bit there. Akanji trying to clip it towards Thuram in the penalty box, but it is immediately possession is coughed back up and could be a shooting opportunity here if that pass from Barella was a little bit better to Thuram, but they're knocking on the door. Parma won possession and then immediately coughed it up in a dangerous position for Inter, but they were unable to capitalise. You're seeing a lot more of this in modern football with this insistence on playing it out from the back. You're going to get many more opportunities if you're alive to it. A sloppy pass as a defence tries to construct possession from deep could lead to the attacking opportunity if the opposition are smart to it, and Inter pounced but weren't quite clinical enough on that occasion. But they have an opportunity to build once again, but that's a good tackle, good headed clearance from Troilo there. He clattered Thuram on the way through and set Parma on their way. Strafezza dropping deep from centre forward, lays it off to Keita. Keita to his right finds Nicolucci. Nicolucci back out to Keita down there on the touchline on the left side. Number 7 cuts inside and finds Keita once again. Keita right to Nicolucci. He spreads it out to Circati. And now that's the pass in towards Del Prato, but he was watched stride for stride by the Inter defence, who just steal in and get possession back for the Nerazzurri. Bisek is in an advanced position, tries to just slip in Dumfries, can't find him, but Dumfries wins possession back. Does he? No. Good defending eventually from Valeri, but covering also was Bisek in an advanced position and managed to rush Valeri into his clearance and wins into a throw, which is taken quickly and passed back to Akanji. Akanji just lays it off to Barella, back to Akanji in the inside left position, maybe halfway inside the Parma half, as Inter continue this inexorable push forward, driving Parma back and back and back. But can they break the door down? 25 minutes played. Crossing opportunity out there on the left, level with the 18-yard line, inside to Di Marco. Di Marco, one touch back to Bastoni. Bastoni right to Zielinski. Good intricate passing forward and a crossing opportunity there. Oh, great save off the line by Suzuki. Cross came in, then a shot from Barella, which hit the bar, bounced back off the bar and then rebounded off Suzuki's head, but didn't trickle over the line, and the Japanese goalkeeper was up on his feet and smart enough to parry the ball away with Thuram, I think it was, lurking. Still the danger isn't over. Nerazzurri coming again. Barella, the creator-in-chief, clips it into the area to Thuram's chest, where he tries to just lay it off to attacker around him, but good defending by Parma. Let's have a look at the replay here. Eventually, the pass comes in. Good intricate passing. It's the squared ball from Esposito inside to Barella, who one touch fires it, almost a toe poke, cannons off the bar, down and back onto Suzuki's back, and it almost trickled over the line, but the Japanese goalkeeper got up, his reflexes were sharp enough, and he just parried the ball away and off the line. Still 0-0 here at the San Siro, and a chance for Parma to attack. Number 9, Pellegrino, surrounded by Inter bodies, manages to retain possession though, and finds Valeri, and now Parma just take the sting out of the game a little bit, slow possession down and try and build a bit of steady time on the ball. Del Prato inside to Troilo. Troilo to Suzuki, back inside the Parma penalty area. Suzuki has Ndai to the left of him, but chooses to go to Del Prato at right wing back. Del Prato inside to Troilo once again, and they repeat the action. This time Suzuki goes out to Ndai, but once again it's back to the Parma goalkeeper. No options presenting themselves forward for Parma, so they continue to recycle possession. And now Nicolucci drops deep, exchanging passes with Bernabé, trying to get Parma ticking over, recycling possession left and right. It's calm stuff at the moment by Parma, but it's all in a completely non-threatening area. Unpressurized possession. Inter aren't going after this ball. They're happy to keep Parma contained and passing over there in their defensive third of the pitch. Right from Suzuki to Troilo, and now it's a bit more of an adventurous pass into Strefezza, and it's a bit higher tariff there, but well done by Keita and Nicolucci with Inter markers lurking. One touch stuff. They work their way out of danger and get Parma higher up the pitch. Here's Nicolucci once again, right to Bernabé. Now he clips it right to Cercati. Cercati, outside of him is Strefezza. He's marked closely by Di Marco, but retains possession. He's going away from goal now, outside of his left foot, just strokes it to Bernabé. The Spaniard opens up in the centre circle, and with his left foot clips it over the line, intended for Valeri, but too close to Jan Sommer, who gathers and throws it back into action for Dumfries to charge up the right wing, and acres of space. He has Barella to the right of him. Barella now in possession, cuts inside, just shy of the penalty area, clips it to Akanji's chest, but fired it into Akanji's chest now. Akanji has Bastoni outside of him. Now Susic, crossing opportunity for Di Marco from the left, wins himself yet another corner. Coming up to the half-hour mark here, and the Nerazzurri continue to knock on the door. Barella still shaking his head at that missed opportunity there. Good instinctive strike, a toe poke as the ball bounced to his feet from Esposito, and a touch unfortunate not to see the ball trickle over the line. Corner taken, cleared by Bernabé. Knocks it deep and out of play for Barella to quickly throw back in. He has Bastoni just deeper. Bastoni in possession now on the left wing, high up inside Parma's half. He squares it to Barella. Barella right to Akanji, and here it once again, Bastoni in possession. Barella now looking desperately to try and find that clipped ball into that front two for Inter, but they're currently being well marked and they're not passing the ball quick enough to drag Parma out of possession. Barella popping up absolutely everywhere, trying to find the key. Here, Dumfries coming inside, shooting opportunity, fires it into Ndai's chest, sends Ndai sprawling the Senegalese defender. Such was the power of the shot from Dumfries from the 18-yard line on Dumfries' supposedly weaker foot. Good defensive work there, good positioning from the Senegalese centre-half. Inter come again, Di Marco on the left wing, cuts inside, finds Susic. Susic just inching the ball forwards, then squaring it right to Barella. Barella lofting it over, intended for one of Thuram or possibly Di Marco, but neither are quite on the same wavelength. We see a replay here of Dumfries coming in off the right wing and picking the ball up off Barella, and then trying to stroke it with his left foot into that far post. But Abdoulaye Ndai, 23-year-old Senegalese defender, was in the right place to get the block in. Christian Kivu passionately, earnestly urging his team forwards as we pass the halfway line. Still goalless. It's a scoreline that would send the title to the black and blue half of Milan, but they want to go with a flourish. Zielinski moving forward with the ball at his feet, inside Parma's half, squares it left to Bastoni. He sends a great cross in. Thuram leaping highest. Possibly he should have left that for Dumfries behind him, but Thuram has got an absolutely fantastic leap on him and backed himself to try and get over the ball there. It was a fantastic cross from Bastoni for sure. Really is a ball-playing centre-half, and he's been spending a lot of time almost in a left-wing position with Di Marco even further higher outside of him. And so he's been sending a few crosses in so far, has the Italian defender. And that was an excellent cross right onto the head of Marcus Thuram, who scored in the reverse fixture between these two sides early on in the season, and he has 7 goal contributions in the last 4 games. So Thuram has been in amongst the goals. Scored last week against Torino in that surprise 2-2 draw into a leading 2-0, and then Roberto De Versa's men brought it back to 2-2. Zielinski picking up the ball off Dumfries, cutting inside, outside the Parma penalty area, worked out to Di Marco over there on the left wing, just shy of the 18-yard line. Now it's back inside where Akanji has the ball at his feet, takes a couple of touches and finds Dumfries on the apex of the penalty area on the right side. He lays it off to Barella, who just chips the ball in to Zielinski. Zielinski back to Barella, now across into the 6-yard box, bounced in an awkward area and then cleared by Del Prato, I think there. No Inter-player able to get onto the end of that, but Di Marco fires one inside to Zielinski, takes a couple of step overs, back to Di Marco on the edge of the area. He finds Barella inside the box, crosses towards Thuram's head. Suzuki's forced to come off his line and punch clear, which he does, only as far as Barella. I think there's a player down, so we're going to have a break in play there. Who was it? I think that's Cercati, who must have taken a knock from his goalkeeper, maybe. Let's see here. I think as Thuram went to try and head that ball, his momentum possibly, his momentum took him into Cercati behind him. So wonder actually how Thuram didn't come off worse in that encounter between the two. It looked like all of the momentum was going with Cercati, and Thuram was jumping with his back to the Australian centre-half, who was born in Italy to Italian parents but moved to Australia at the age of just 1, so represents the Kangaroos down under, the Socceroos as they're known. Akanji passes the ball out to Barella just inside the wing on the right side, back to Akanji, central, about 30 yards out. He passes it left to Bastoni. Now Di Marco is on the ball. He tries to come inside, exchange of 1-2 with Susic, but gives up possession. Pellegrino able to charge down the right wing. He's closely marked by Akanji and Susic. Cuts inside the both of them, but Akanji kept himself in the race and was able to eventually get the tackle in. Referee's pulled up play for something here. A follow through from Nicolucci. I can't see exactly what was wrong there. He saw the ball in front of him. It was fair enough for him to go for it. And the referee has given a corner to Parma. There must have been an action that I missed there watching that replay. Perhaps the clearance by Nicolucci took a touch off the Inter defender, but as it is, corner to be taken from the right side, left-footed, so an in-swinger, plenty of bodies to aim at, but plenty also Inter defenders to get a head on it, and it's Thuram at the near post who heads it away, Didier Drogba style, for Parma to pick up with Keita inside his area, under pressure from Barella, passes back to Suzuki. Suzuki outside his box, launches it up the pitch, smashes it up the pitch. I remember covering a Parma game earlier on in the season, and it really struck me then, and I've just seen it once again, just how far Zion Suzuki can hit the ball. They were at home against Napoli in a game that Napoli really did need to win. Ended up a draw, a decent result for the Giallo Blu. But I'm not sure I've seen many other goalkeepers who can hit a ball as far as Suzuki can. I suppose Ederson for Man City is another candidate. He's got that really low, flat delivery on the ball. Such a clean striker, and it sends it absolutely miles, as he did there, pretty much coast to coast from one penalty box to the other. Bastoni heads the ball clear halfway inside his half towards the front men for Inter. Barella gets a loose ball, but it looks like he's given a foul away. Not entirely sure what for, but Parma are going to have a free kick inside the centre circle, which is taken by Keita back towards Cercati. Cercati feeds it into Bernabé. Bernabé's been a little bit quiet so far in this Parma midfield. He's usually at the heart of things, keeping Parma ticking over in that typically efficient Spanish style. Bernabé, formerly of Man City's academy, with question marks over his fitness going into this game, but he's clearly passed that test, able to play. Sloppy from Abdoulaye Ndiaye at left centre back, putting the ball out of play and handing Inter a throw in an attacking position, which Dumfries takes and throws deeper to Bisek. Bisek across the back three. Akanji has it now. He's taking a few steps forwards. Back to Bisek. Bisek comes inside to Barella. It's congested on the 18-yard line. Plenty of bodies, plenty of Parma players, Inter players, and it's been tough so far for the Nerazzurri to pick this lock. Barella, Susic and Zielinski are working tirelessly in this attacking midfield position, popping up everywhere and trying to find that decisive pass, firing it through the lines in the midst of the bodies and hoping to get it on to one of their teammates. Bastoni in midfield almost, passes it right to Akanji, who's so high up the pitch, really is remarkable. Inter are just, every single one of their outfield players is encamped in the Parma half. Parma are deeper and deeper and deeper. Strafezza, their highest player, is probably around 30 yards out from his own goal at the moment. Zielinski in possession, turning one way, then back out to the left wing where he finds Di Marco. Di Marco drops it for a cross by Bastoni once again, and once again it's headed goalwards. Dumfries, it's the second time he's got his head on the ball so far in this game, but he can't direct it goalwards. Another good cross from Alessandro Bastoni. Dumfries was being marked by Ndiaye, but he got to the ball first, and he possibly should have done a little bit better with that. Christian Kivu's cutting a little bit of a frustrated figure on the sidelines. I think if I can interpret his gestures from my vantage point up here, I would say that he's insisting that Inter get the ball and get it passing quicker. The travelling Parma fans high up there in the gods of the San Siro must be the happier of the two sets of supporters so far as we pass the 40-minute mark. 5 minutes left of this half, still 0-0. But a free kick conceded by Nicolosi, formerly of Juventus. Hands possession, no, it's a throw, not a free kick. Halfway inside Parma's half, taken by Bastoni, back to Akanji, and the Italian gets it immediately back off his Swiss centre-back partner. Akanji fires the ball out to Dumfries, and Dumfries comes back inside to Bisek. An opportunity for Parma to push a little higher up the pitch if they can coordinate their movements, but the ball comes straight back towards them. Thuram is jostling with the ball with Cercati over there. Cercati concedes a throw, which Susic tries to take quickly, but instead he opts to allow Bastoni to throw the ball back in. The ball is worked out to Barella in that inside right position where he seems to be taking up quite frequently so far in this game, as he drifts left and right in front of the Parma back three, trying to find a way through their stubborn defence. Surprising to see Carlos Cuesta, you'd think, who's been schooled in the Spanish way of playing, and certainly Parma aren't afraid to play, but so far here they're doing a lot of defending and a lot of defending in a very low block on the edge of their area. Di Marco inside to Zielinski. Zielinski exchanges a 1-2 with Barella, gets it back and finds Bisek. Bisek has Dumfries outside of him. One touch from Dumfries inside to Barella. Barella left to Di Marco. Di Marco still further left to Bastoni. Bastoni back inside to Akanji. Akanji now tries to clip it over there to the left wing, where Susic tried to just volley the ball back across goal, but it was too far, brought him too close to the touchline, and he was unable to keep the ball in play. Goal kick to Parma with 2 minutes left to play of the first half here at the San Siro. Couple of games to go in this season, and promises to be one that ends at least with the Serie A title. Inter will have a chance to back that up with the Coppa Italia, which they will contest with Lazio in the showpiece event on the 13th of May. Strefezza wins the ball in the left midfield position, cuts back inside onto his right foot, then drops it deep to Keita. Keita, number 16 for Parma, squares it right to Nicolosi. Nicolosi chooses a safe option back to the Senegalese and Ndai. Now Strefezza gets it back up the left wing. Strefezza has a license to roam. Oh, that's potentially dangerous there from Troilo. Almost coughed up possession to Thuram with just the goalkeeper to beat, but Troilo manages to get himself out of trouble. Moved to Italy at the beginning of this season, the Argentine defender. Strefezza passes it left to Valeri, cross from left of the centre box into the 6-yard area. And Bastoni clears there. Good cross though from Valeri. Bastoni had Pellegrino behind him, waiting to pounce on it. Encouraging gestures from Cuesta on the sidelines. Less than 1 minute to go of normal time here at the end of the first half. Let's see how much they decide to add on. By my rough count, just by feel, I'd be surprised if it's more than a couple of minutes. There hasn't been a hell of a lot of stoppages in this game. The ball has been in play quite often. A lot of the passing has been safe, sideways and backwards, because the bodies, particularly on the edge of Parma's penalty area, are so congested. Akanji passes it left in just that position to Bastoni. Bastoni 1-2 with Di Marco, and then inside to Barella. As ever, Inter inside Parma's half. Barella looking for that pass through the lines, but doesn't find one, so chooses a slightly safer option to Zielinski, and Zielinski finds Susic, who's just pulling out to that left wing spot. 2 minutes to play at the end of the first half. Susic, number 8, passes it left to Di Marco. Di Marco tries to cross, doesn't, finds Barella. Barella, crossfield pass to Dumfries. He's got 2 players marking him, Strafezza and Valeri. Strafezza the one who gets the tackle in, and a good pass from Strafezza into midfield where Pellegrino tried to nod it on for Valeri, running into Inter's half, but he was well watched by Akanji, who got there at first and set the ball back to Jan Sommer, who sets Inter on another attack. Zielinski, good pass to Thuram, scoring opportunity here, and he's put it in the back of the net. 1-0 Inter. They have the lead in the final minute of the half in additional time. Simple, really, for a Parma defence which has been so stubborn and so careful, and watching every one of their movements, they were undone there. Zielinski, I think it was, with the assist into Thuram into the right of the goal, roughly level with the penalty spot. The French striker took a touch and then smashed it past Suzuki. Simple pass from Zielinski. Those attacking midfielders for the Nerazzurri have been trying to find that decisive pass through the lines and into the front men all game, and just perhaps Parma a little bit lax as half-time approached. Perhaps psychologically felt that half of the job was done and just took their eyes off the ball and slacked a touch in their defensive responsibility, and that was the chance for Zielinski, and he pounced, passing the ball into Thuram, who's got his 15th goal of the season, and it might just be the goal that wins Inter the title. That proves pretty much to be the last action of the first half. What a time to score a goal. Makes Kivu's half-time team talk ever so much easier, and sends the teams into the half-time break. The Nerazzurri now much the happier side. Suzuki looks frustrated. The fans in the stands are already beginning to celebrate. They're bouncing up and down there in the San Siro, sensing the title is coming their way. The second half will be coming your way in around 15 minutes, so don't go anywhere. We'll be back shortly. Welcome back to the San Siro, ladies and gentlemen. The phone lights are on as the crowd look to generate a bit of a special atmosphere, and what they hope to be is a golden evening for the club. They're halfway there, halfway to the moment which every fan wants to have, which is that moment of celebrating a trophy with their beloved team. The Nerazzurri supporters are well used to that feeling. Twice in recent years they've lifted the Serie A crown, and it looks like they're going to do it again. The teams are lining up in the tunnel ready to take to the pitch here at the San Siro once again. Let's see if there are any changes to either line up as the teams emerge for the second half. Nothing has indicated that either of the managers is prepared to make a change at this stage. The goal coming at the perfect time from an Inter perspective, just before the half-time break. Thuram putting it past Suzuki and potentially putting Inter on the cusp of yet another league title. A shot of Carlos Cuesta there would have made his job that much harder after overseeing what he would have thought was an excellent half. They were a stubborn opposition, they were disciplined, committed, working for each other, and in the great sides, when the moment presents themselves, are able to capitalise. And that's exactly what Inter did. It's worthy of champions. We are having a change here. Esposito, number 94, is being replaced by Ange Juan Boni. His first season at Inter, after actually playing for Parma last season. So he's up against his former employers. Pio Esposito struggled a little bit, if we're honest, in that first half. We've had kick-off in the second half. The Nerazzurri kicking from right to left in their black and white kits against the all-white of Parma Calcio. Zielinski, the deepest Inter player in the centre circle, is on the ball at the moment, passes it left to Alessandro Bastoni. Bastoni squares it right to Akanji. Akanji gets it out to Dumfries, who comes back inside and finds the Swiss defender once again. All the way back to Jan Sommer in goal. And now Inter are able to try and work it up the pitch. Bisek winning a free kick almost on the halfway line there. Kivu, in his time as Parma coach, lost only 3 games of the 13 that he took charge, and that was enough to propel the Giallo Blu out of the relegation zone into safety. So they'll have fond memories for him in Parma, but possibly even fonder memories here in Milan, where the Romanian looks set to burnish his record still further. Great as a player, won everything possible in the game. Zielinski just passing it left to Bastoni on the apex of the box. Good cross into the 6-yard area, but Suzuki saw it there and launches a massive throw towards Strafezza. It's slightly ahead of the Brazilian. Bisek able to cover. Christian Kivu won absolutely everything there was to win as a player, part of that Champions League winning side for Jose Mourinho's Inter in 2010, the triple winning side, and now he's taking that reputation and burnishing it as a manager. Bastoni on the left wing, high up the pitch, slips it into Susic, who manages to win a throw and throws it immediately back into play to Nicolo Barella's feet. Back to Susic, left to Bastoni. Now it's inside to Di Marco. Di Marco tries to pass it back out to Bastoni on the left wing. Both the left centre-back and the left wing-back are playing so high up the pitch here. It's almost as if they are two auxiliary left wingers. That must have taken a knock off a Parma player, because it's an Inter throw, thrown back into action. Akanji now finds Barella, who touches it on to Bastoni, and Bastoni finds Di Marco. Di Marco chooses to come back inside, where Zielinski is at the base of the midfield. Zielinski tries to find Barella, but it's a good interception by Parma, and they get it into Matteo Pellegrino's feet, but the big Argentine's touch was a little heavy and allowed Zielinski, I think it was, covering from midfield to tackle and hand possession back to Inter. Zielinski's on the ball at the moment in the inside left channel, marching into Parma's half, finds Di Marco. Di Marco inside to Bastoni. Bastoni into midfield, where Barella picks it up, turns, opens and spreads play, where he finds Jan Bisek over there, halfway inside the Parma half on the right wing. Bisek gets the ball back after a few passes inside through the Inter players. Akanji now up the pitch to Zielinski. Jan Bisek once again finds Zielinski once more inside the penalty area on the right side. Cross comes in, manages to dig out a cross from such a tight angle, but once again Suzuki reads it off his line, tries to get Parma going again, but that's excellent defensive covering from Petar Susic. Croatian international, did represent the Bosnia and Herzegovina youth team sides, but once he turned into a senior pro, decided to represent Croatia. This is his first season at Inter, and it's been a successful one for the box-to-box player. Good covering tackle there, puts it out for a throw, which is taken quickly and across the pitch to Cercati. Cercati finds Del Prato. Cercati continues his run, but it doesn't go to him. Instead, Parma recycling possession here in midfield. Bernabé just coming back inside is clipped by Susic, and a Spanish midfielder hits the deck, gains the foul, and passes it quickly back into play. Bernabé on the right side, just inside Inter's half. Tries to go outside, but then comes back inside, where Cercati finds Keita. Now it's worked out to left back. Keita picking it up off Valeri, and back into Parma's back three. Good press now from Inter, really forcing Parma back all the way to their goalkeeper. The trigger's been sprung and they're really going for it, and Keita there almost allowed Thuram to steal in and pinch it off his toes, but the Senegalese, the Belgium midfielder just about manages to retain possession. Passes it to Strafezza, dropping deep from centre forward. Now it's up there with Valeri. Valeri inside to Strafezza. The Brazilian crosses to the far post, where Del Prato was lurking, but Sommer read the flight well, got there first. Bastoni coming out of defence with the ball at his feet, passes it right to Jan Bisek. Bisek inside to Akanji. Akanji finds Susic dropping deep from midfield in acres of space, and the Croatian plays it into Di Marco. Di Marco exchanges a 1-2 with Zielinski, and now it's back inside to Susic. Inter pressing inexorably forward as they were doing in the first half too. They're 1-0 to the good. That was almost a great pass from Di Marco into the front two for Inter, but intercepted. Still another opportunity though. Barella trying to come inside, but he's well tackled by Nicolucci. Crossing opportunity now from Di Marco right across the 6-yard box, and I think Cercati there got a vital touch which just diverted it away from the lurking Inter strikers. Thuram and Boni were waiting to pounce onto the end of that. It was a vital touch from Cercati. He had to dive and get there, but that could have gone absolutely anywhere. Corner to be taken from the far side, the right wing. Di Marco with his left foot has a quartet of Inter players around the penalty area to aim for. Suzuki scanning his box. A shot here from the referee's cam just shows Akanji, Thuram, Dumfries, all there. Bonney as well, I think, all there. Trying to go short this time though. Barella lays it back to Dimarco, and Dimarco tosses the ball into the box from a slightly deeper position, but it is well cleared. Akanji just having a word with the referee there, unhappy about something, perhaps a little bit too hands-on the marking in the Parma penalty box. Nothing doing though, and Parma are able to emerge with the ball down at left back. It's a smart pass inside by Keita, finds Nicolucci. Nicolucci spreads play. Cercati crosses the halfway line at right centre back. Almost on the touchline is the Australian defender. Then he comes back inside, finds Nicolucci again. The heartbeat at the side, at the middle of the Parma midfield. He finds Strafezza. Now it's worked out to Valeri over there, level with the 18-yard line on the left wing. Valeri one-on-one with Dumfries, gets across into the box. Good covering tackle by Akanji there at the near post. Pellegrino was lining up a shot. Bonney, dropping deep from centre forward, just picks up the loose ball and retains possession for Inter, who are now able to build a little bit more calmly. Dimarco fires one into midfield. Barella there, just unable to control that ball, and a little bit hastily poked a ball down the left wing for Susic to chase, but it was a little bit too far for him. Parma now playing it short from the throw, coughing up possession. Dimarco can cross, but it's well charged down by Cercati. Throw for the Nerazzurri. Dimarco's going to take this. He looks a little bit grumpy, a little bit of a push in the back there on the Italian fullback. He leaves the ball for Bastoni to wind up one of those long throws from the Italian centre half. He's got Frattesi as a sub, encouraging him. Throw into the near post, but it's headed clear and back to almost exactly the same position, where no doubt he's going to do exactly the same thing. Cercati was the one who got his head on that ball. Cercati responsible for marking Bonney in the near post area for Inter. This time the throw comes short to Barella, and Barella passes it to Dimarco. Barella gets it back and tries to jink his way to a cross in that advanced left wing position, but possession changes hands, and now Strafezza is marching down the inside left position, cuts inside onto his right, trying to find a shooting opportunity, goes back outside again, dallies on the ball a little bit too much. Barella back and gets the tackle, but still in Parma's hands. Now the cross comes in, blocked and sent back to Keita by Jan Bisek. Parma still in possession. Del Prato now has a crossing opportunity to the right of the penalty box. He drops it deep to Bernabé, left-footed Bernabé, fires one into Pellegrino. His touch is a little bit heavy. It's the second time that's happened again. He's Parma's top scorer in Serie A with 8 goals. He's a physical presence, but just on a couple of occasions this evening, the ball has come into him, and the top class centre forwards are able to kill that dead back to goal or bounce it off to an on-rushing midfielder. But it's just a little bit heavy, that touch, and it's allowing the Inter defenders to get a tackle in. Bernabé finds Cercati in the inside right position. He lays it outside to Del Prato. Now it's inside with Keita. Del Prato on the overlap, but good covering from Dimarco inside the penalty area. Gets there ahead of his fellow Italian. And still in possession, passes it to Susic, really deep, almost by the corner flag, but the Croatian is able to turn and clear. And Bonney wins it off Nicolucci and finds Dumfries. A little bit of a heavy touch from Dumfries sends him back towards his keeper Jan Sommer, but possession safely retained. And now Akanji is able to play it into Barella. Barella gets an early pass out to Thuram. That was an unusually poor, sloppy touch from the French striker. He's usually so reliable in those positions. It was down the right wing and unable to progress the ball any further, but Zielinski has it now. Now the pass comes into Thuram, lays it off to Susic. Susic turns back outside to Zielinski once again, fires it back to Barella, lays it off to Susic. Shot blocked by Nicolucci. Good defensive work from Parma, but the danger isn't over. Inter able to build again. Akanji passes it left to Susic and goes still further to Di Marco. Di Marco back inside to Susic. Barella now takes his turn to try and pick the lock. He finds Zielinski. Zielinski to the left of the penalty area, level with the 18-yard line, inside to Barella. 1-2, Barella with Thuram, but it's just a little bit behind the Italian on the return pass, and Parma are able to get it clear, but Nicolucci concedes a throw, level with the 6-yard line roughly, here down here on the left side from Inter's perspective. Inter really ramping up the pressure as we approach the hour mark, looking to get the second, which surely is going to kill this game. Susic coming inside, squares it to Jan Bisek. Jan Bisek has Dumfries outside of him on the right wing, back to Bisek. Bisek goes back inside and finds Susic. 2 touches there from Susic to try and evade the defender, unable to concede possession. Strafezza emerges with the ball but coughs it right back up, allowing Inter to counter if they can do this quickly. Thuram, Bonni rolls the ball in the box, tries to clip it goalwards. It was a cross. He gets an applause from his strike partner, but it was too close, his cross to Suzuki, and the Japanese goalkeeper able to come off his line and claim. Drops it to his feet, Suzuki, and passes it to Troilo to the right of him. Back to Suzuki. Now it's going to go long. That huge kick towards Pellegrino, but Akanji, such a pro, even under physical pressure from Pellegrino, watches it all the way onto his foot and clears the danger. Inter building again. Zielinski feeding Di Marco inside left position. That's a great pass actually, but Thuram just not on the same wavelength. A little bit of words exchanged between the two, and if I'm able to add my 2 cents into the conversation, I would side with Di Marco there. Inside left position, great run, picks up the ball. Thuram's just got to be running earlier to pick that up, but he was a little bit lax, and Parma now able to build. Big, booming crossfield pass from Bernabé, trying to find Valeri, but well intercepted by Dumfries. Inter able to counter now if they could do this quickly. Dumfries down the right wing, cross comes in, it's a great cross, and Troilo had to put that behind because Thuram was lurking. Good positioning there from Mariano Troilo. The young Argentine centre-back just pops it behind for another Inter throw, which Federico Di Marco trots over to take. In actual fact, it's Barella taking this one, right-footed, so an outswinger this time. Inter players around the centre penalty spot. It's a good corner. Di Marco possibly with an opportunity to shoot, fires it back into the 6-yard box. Inter player unable to get control, so Strafezza on the edge of the area comes away with it, but Parma almost lose possession. Nicolucci has it. Nicolucci looks like he's been pulled up. Not Nicolucci, I beg your pardon. Pellegrino has been pulled up for a hand in Pellegrino's face as he was emerging with the ball, akin to a handoff in rugby. Hand probably was a little bit high. He's never afraid to leave a little bit of a physical edge to his play, Pellegrino. We're just seeing a replay of the goal at the end of the first half. So simple, and the crowd go wild. Thuram celebrating with his teammates. That could be the goal that hands the Nerazzurri the Scudetto for this 2025-26 season. He's 3 goals behind Lautaro Martinez in the league. 13 Thuram has, Martinez 3 ahead on 16. Martinez recovering from an injury, so I would imagine with the Coppa Italia to come that if he can avoid it, Kivu doesn't want to play his star striker, especially with Inter 1 goal to the good and less than 30 minutes to play of normal time. Inter have a free kick. Bernabé just coming in from behind and sending Jan Bisek to the ground roughly on the halfway line. Free kick is taken quickly and worked out to Susic in the inside left position. Has Di Marco outside of him, finds the Italian. Di Marco inside to Bastoni. Now he gets it back. Di Marco crosses, intercepted. Another corner. Del Prato, the Parma skipper, was the one who just stopped that cross at source, put it behind for a corner. This time Di Marco is going to take it left-footed over there on the left wing. So an outswinger. Parma still complaining on that tackle on Jan Bisek over on the halfway line. Strefezza and Del Prato are in the referees here, not happy about something, but Di Marco is the one standing over this this corner, wearing number 32 for Inter. Outswinger takes it. It's a good delivery into the 6-yard box, but well headed clear. Zielinski was the one on the edge of the area trying to get the volley. As he lined up the volley and tried to hit it, I think he clattered into an on-rushing Parma attacker, Strefezza, and he gets a yellow card for his troubles. Tad harsh, I'd say. The ball was there to be hit. Strefezza was running onto it. Good defensive work from Strefezza, but it was hard for Zielinski to pull his foot out of danger at that late stage. But as it is, yellow to the Polish midfielder and an opportunity for Parma to build a little bit of possession. Troilo coming into the centre circle, finding Strefezza. Strefezza clips it into Pellegrino, who controls it on his chest and then hits the deck under a little bit of contact. Referee is unmoved, no free kick. Strefezza has it in the centre circle, lays it off to Bernabé. Bernabé 1-2 with Keita, then opens up, finds Nicolucci. Now Del Prato has it just inside Inter's half. Back to Bernabé. That's a good pass, finding Nicolucci on the right wing. He tried to put the ball one side of Bastoni and go the other, but Bastoni read it and prevented Nicolucci from getting around him. So Inter in possession now, just on the edge of their area. Barella passing it out to Bisek, who's in a lot of space, able to cross the halfway line on the right side. He has Dumfries outside of him, Susic inside of him. Plays a 1-2 with Susic, gets it back, apex of the penalty area, crossing opportunity. Instead he passes it to Dumfries, cross into the box now, and well cleared by Cercati. Distance on it, but a great touch, picking the ball out of the air from Barella with his left foot, plucking it out and then try to pass it round the corner with his right. The pass, unfortunately, nowhere near as good as the touch. It goes straight out of play for a Parma throw. 65 minutes played. The flags are waving and Lautaro Martinez is going to be introduced. Valuable minutes for the Argentine as he gets back to top form after that injury. Carlos Augusto is also going to come on. Number 7, Zielinski, comes off for Carlos Augusto. Possibly a change in shape here. And Thuram, the goal scorer, his job done for the afternoon, is replaced by Lautaro Martinez. And finally, also, we're going to see Mkhitaryan on as well in place of Zielinski. So a triple substitution, and Barella hands the armband to Lautaro Martinez. The club captain will be, if this scoreline doesn't change dramatically, the one to lift the trophy for Inter. A double substitution as well for Parma sees Nesta Elfej on in place of Pellegrino, and also looks like Keita is being replaced by Ordóñez. So quite a few subs to get our heads around there. Ordóñez, the Argentine, joined Parma at the start of the season. He's on in place of Keita. Good for Lautaro Martinez to come on and enjoy this moment. And from a Parma perspective, I have to say I was a little bit surprised not to see Nesta Elfej in the lineup. He's been scoring goals for Parma, and a side that finds goals a little bit hard to come by, it felt like it was a guarantee to hand their top scorer a start. Pellegrino struggled in the game today, to be honest. Lucky to actually get as many minutes as he did. But let's see if these changes for both sides make a difference. Inter immediately on the press, trying to trap Parma in on the edge of their box. Parma beat the press, and a pass from Cercati tries to get Nesta Elfej on the ball, but it's well cleared by Inter, only as far as Nicolosi, who comes inside, watched by Mkhitaryan. Mkhitaryan unable to get the tackle in, and so Nicolosi plays it on to Ordóñez. Nicolosi inside Inter's half, passes it to Troilo. Troilo into Bernabé, and now Ordóñez. Ordóñez finds Strefezza outside of his boot. Strefezza into Elfej. Those two had a really good big man, little man partnership against Napoli a few games ago. Scored a goal literally in the opening minutes of the game, which was Suzuki up to Elfej. Elfej nodding it on to Strefezza, who ran off the big man one-on-one and in goal and gave Parma the lead. So again, a surprise not to see Carlos Cuesta going for Elfej in this game. Parma building possession with Nicolosi, passing it to Keita. Keita, that's sloppy. Mkhitaryan stepping in and winning possession. Boni now has DiMarco outside of him. DiMarco inside the penalty area. Crosses, and it's eventually cleared. That could have been assist number 19 for DiMarco, but good defensive work there from Troilo, or possibly Valeri. We'll need to see a replay. No, Nicolosi dropping deep from midfield, just diving and intercepting the ball. It was a little bit behind Mkhitaryan, but there was another Inter player there lurking and ready to pounce. So well done, Nicolosi there. Really is box-to-box player. Cross from the right by Del Prato towards Elfej. Good work from Bisek, just preventing that ball from finding the Frenchman. Danger for a moment looked like it was going to come again, but I think Strefezza just possibly, I'm not even sure there, actually I need to see a better angle. He looked like he actually kept the ball on. Dumfries adamant that it crossed the line. Strefezza, you won't be surprised to hear, thought he kept it in, but it's an Inter throw down by their corner flag over there on the right wing. Dumfries has the ball in his hands, throws it up the wing and into Martinez, dropping deep from centre forward. The captain loses possession, actually coughs it up, and Nicolosi has it. One touch from Nicolosi finds Troilo. Troilo right to Bernabé. Bernabé tries to play Elfej in, but it's just a little bit too far. He was just to the right of the 6-yard box, but Nesta Elfej, full of power and potential, running onto it. It's a little bit too far, even for him. Both centre forwards for Inter from the start of the game have been replaced. Martinez and Boni, the ones now leading the line. The Frenchman there getting a great chest inside to Martinez, and Martinez finds DiMarco, cross into the box, and it's over by Dumfries. He was falling as he hit it, falling backwards, and just sent it over the bar. That would have been the goal surely to kill this game off. Should have done better, really. It was bouncing as it arrived at his foot. He's leaning backwards, couldn't keep it beneath the bar. He's had a couple of chances this evening, has Dumfries, and hasn't really managed to get a proper connection on either of them. Suzuki, goal kick, ready to send the ball way up the other side of the pitch towards Elfej. So strong in the air is the Frenchman. That is, again, I say it, such a great goal kick. Elfej actually does get his head on that ball, but there's nobody running behind him on this occasion, so Inter able to gather. That's a good head on by Martinez. Boni chases, but Parma get there first. Suzuki out to Circati. Circati down the line to Del Prato. Del Prato sends it straight back to the Aussie defender who finds his goalkeeper. Good pass there from Suzuki out to Valeri at left wing back. Valeri tried to open his body and pass it up the wing to Strafezza, put it out of play. Camera increasingly going into the crowd now as Inter probably around 20 minutes just over from celebrating their 21st league title. The race looks almost run, but Inter are chasing this second goal to put this game beyond doubt. Susic passes it left to Mkhitaryan. Mkhitaryan takes a touch and comes into this inside left position, squares it left to Di Marco, back to the Armenian. 1-2 with Barella. Barella to Mkhitaryan to Di Marco, and now a cross, but well defended there from Ndai, coming across from left centre back. Ball is out for an Inter throw to be taken by number 30, Carlos Augusto, who is comfortable at left wing back just as he is in the middle of the park. Two changes for Parma to announce. Sorensen is coming on, and as is Almqvist. So a Scandinavian feel to this double substitution. Almqvist on for Strafezza, who's run tirelessly all afternoon. Not been a lot going forward for Parma this evening, but he's ran himself into the ground. Pontus Almqvist, he's had his injury problems this afternoon. This season, I beg your pardon. And the other substitution, Bernabé, is off for Sorensen. So Sorensen and Almqvist will see out this game. Around 20 minutes probably left to play. Throw taken by Carlos Augusto. Looks like Inter are playing a back four now. So from right to left, Dumfries, Bastoni. Dumfries, and not Bastoni. Instead it's Bisek. Dumfries, Bisek, Akanji, and Augusto at left back. I got there in the end. Bisek there, passes up the wing to Dumfries, just shy of the halfway line. Back to the German now. He plays it into midfield. Back to Bisek. Takes a couple of touches and finds Augusto at left back. Crosses the halfway line. 1-2 with Mkhitaryan. Back to Augusto, who finds Bisek, and now they go up the right side. Clipped forward for Nesta to chase. Abdoulaye Ndai gets there first, puts it out for a corner. He wanted a foul. Shoulder to shoulder, I'd say. Perhaps a little bit added in there by Boni. Christian Kivu doesn't seem to think so. He's happy that there's a corner. He's been energetic since he's come on. Boni, cross corner coming from that right side, out swinger to Dumfries, who instead of trying to find goal this time, he nods it but can only find Almqvist. Almqvist tries to run away with the ball, coughs up possession. Cross here from the right side if they can find the angle. Inter, they can't, they come inside instead. Mkhitaryan has it, about 30 yards out, tries to find Di Marco. The cross comes in from the Italian towards Boni, takes a deflection and into Suzuki's grateful arms. The Japanese goalkeeper throws it out to Sorensen. Sorensen, wearing number 22, comes back inside, and his midfield partner, number 24, Adonez, rather sloppily tried to clear the ball, but straight back to an Inter player. They're in the penalty box now. Cross coming from the right, cuts inside. Martinez shoots straight into Suzuki's arms. Dummied for the cross, came inside, hit it on his left. Circati was amusingly, as the shot came, checking if Boni was okay, and just had to immediately turn his attention to the more pressing danger of the World Cup winner's shot on goal, but on his left, Martinez couldn't quite generate the power or the direction to trouble Suzuki. Boni is up on his feet. The French striker seems to be okay. And Rieg takes his position as Parma look to get this game going again. We're approaching the 78th minute. Not long to go here. Inter 1, Parma 0. If you're just tuning in, Inter are around 15 minutes away from securing the Serie A title for the 21st time. A season that they have dominated pretty much from start to finish. Antonio Conte's side unable to follow up on their league title from last season. So it's the Nerazzurri once again who look set to win the Scudetto. They have been deserved champions-elect possibly, I should say. Even now, it looks almost certain that it's going to be a league title for the Nerazzurri, but they've been brilliant all season. They have an opportunity to make it a double if they can get past Lazio in the Coppa Italia final on May 13th. They've led for so long and have had a healthy lead at the top of Serie A. Heads and shoulders ahead of their nearest competition. If we look down the list of their results for Inter, a couple of them stand out. But accumulatively, the effect has been to, have them 9 points at the top of the table. Great pass down into the centre box there, and it's another goal. Great pass to Lautaro Martinez inside the penalty area. One touch, he squares it, and Mkhitaryan, the Armenian, is the grateful recipient of a simple tap-in. Now that, ladies and gentlemen, surely is that. Inter 2, Parma 0. Mkhitaryan has his 4th goal of the season. As simple as you like. Parma's defence for so long in this game has been so solid, but there have just been a couple of lapses. And that's a pass from Bisek to Martinez, who looks like he's broken the offside trap. We'll have to have another look. And the Argentine squares to the Armenian, who left-footed passes it past the despairing Suzuki dive. Inter 2, Parma 0. And that is going to be the title. The fans happy, celebrating in the stands here at the Stadio Giuseppe Meazza. The players know, and I dare say Napoli watching on to the south. They, in their heart of hearts, probably knew a while ago, but now it's almost certain, and they're dancing in the stadium, they're dancing in the stands, and they're dancing down in the technical area as well. Inter looking to end on a flourish. Mkhitaryan trying to come inside, well tackled by Cercati. Chance for Parma to break, but tackled again. So Inter have possession once more. Looking down at the results over the season for Inter, it's just been so consistent. There have been so many wins. They even lost the Derby della Madonnina against AC Milan on the 23rd of November, but they've been able to bounce back so quickly. So many of their head-to-heads against their nearest challengers have been losses. In October, they lose to Napoli 3-1. But the consistency they brought to the table has been something that their nearest challengers have lacked. And they've consistently been able to go on to 4 or 5 match winning runs. They drew to Napoli in January. That's been the difference. Where their opponents have dropped points in games they should win, Inter have consistently beaten teams lower in the league, and that's the difference. The league table never lies over the course of 38 games. Only the true champion will emerge at the top, and this season, without a doubt, it's the Nerazzurri. Denzel Dumfries has the ball just inside Parma's half, comes inside to Susic. He goes back outside, beats Ordóñez. Ordóñez snapping at his heels, forcing the Croatian to come back inside, where he finds Augusto. Augusto left to Di Marco. Di Marco finds Lautaro Martinez, who controls it with his chest, but it's a little heavy, and Ordóñez is able to regain possession. Martinez, in his enthusiasm to win the ball back, clatters into the back of his fellow Argentine. Clear foul, as we see a replay of the Mkhitaryan's goal. Martinez, a really smart striker, just was able to check his run and keep himself onside, and the VAR replay confirms that he was about a yard onside. Such a clever striker, curving his run at the point of the pass, and then it's just a simple ball across the 6-yard box for Mkhitaryan to pass home. Barella is limping. I'm not sure where that came, but it looks to be okay. 84 minutes on the clock. The celebrations have started. Time for a Parma substitution. Franco Carboni is on for Valeri, but this is all immaterial because the celebrations have already begun in the stands here at the Stadio Giuseppe Meazza. Somebody should tell Christian Kivu that, because he's not letting up. Such an energetic presence on the touchline, and not only an energetic presence, but a really intelligent, witty man. His press conferences often have him in the pose of a wry smile, leaning back in his chair, half amused at the questions being presented for him. He's always ready with a quip. Del Prato in possession inside Inter's half, drops it to Cercati. Cercati inside to Troilo, and Troilo back to Suzuki. Suzuki, good pass out to Ndai's feet. They try again down the left. Carboni has it now, back to Ndai. Ndai in midfield, where Nicolucci sends it straight back to him, and Suzuki has it now. Parma trying down the right side, playing for pride's sake now. Can they get a goal in these last 10 or so minutes? Possibly now. They're bearing down on goal. Square to Elfej, and it is. It's a goal, 2-1. Is that going to be given? No, offside. Almqvist was the one who played it into Elfej's path, and unlike Martinez a few minutes ago, the Swede was unable to check his run and keep himself onside. Good move though, good pace from Pontus Almqvist, and squared it nicely for Elfej, who matched the Swede's run and slotted it past Jan Sommer, but unfortunately for Parma it's not going to stand. 86 minutes on the clock. The celebrations have already begun in the stands, and those out on the pitch will be able to join them in just a few minutes' time. The ball is played back to Jan Sommer and out to Baston, out to Carlos Augusto. Augusto plays it to Di Marco, who concedes possession. Crossing opportunity for Parma if they can work it right. Ordóñez slips it into Almqvist. Almqvist, low cross into the box. It's cleared by an Inter player, out for a throw, which Carlos Cuesta, outside of his technical area, runs to catch the ball and try and get Parma to throw it quickly. As it is, they opt to take their time. Del Prato has the ball in his hands, number 15, the captain for Parma. Throws it down the wing to Ordóñez. Ordóñez pressurized by Augusto. Tries to cross Ordóñez and wins a corner off the Brazilian. We see a replay of Almqvist. Yeah, he is offside, even according to the potential new law of daylight, which I'm dead against. He still would have been offside. Nicolosi, number 41 for Parma, standing over this corner, right-footed. The Nerazzurri fans stand to their feet to applaud Nicolo Barella, who departs the pitch. Applause everywhere you could see. He's been so good for so many years, Nicolo Barella, a real heartbeat of this side, and that's a substitution to afford the Italian the pride of the standing ovation, and also to allow Davide Fratesi, such a faithful servant for the Nerazzurri, a few minutes amid the joy of celebrating the Scudetto. Corner taken by Nicolosi in towards Ndai, who tries to head it goalwards, can't direct it properly. Elfej probably thought that he should have had that on his head, and I think Cuesta might agree with him. Mkhitaryan is a marvel of modern football, 36 years old, so experienced. Has played for Arsenal and Manchester United, for watchers of the Premier League, a number of Italian clubs, won the Europa League for Shakhtar Donetsk all those years ago. Such an intelligent man as well, speaks so many languages. Inter clear their lines up towards Lautaro Martinez, who shoulder to shoulder with Cercati, beats the Australian centre half, and then outside of his left foot finds Di Marco into the box. Di Marco, who, is that a goal? No. Fratesi was the one who got on the end of Di Marco's cross and fired it into the goal, but Suzuki was smart down to his right and smothered it. Almost trickled over the line, but for the second time this afternoon, Suzuki's secondary reflexes are sharp enough to prevent a rather embarrassing goalkeeper error. We have just passed the 90-minute mark here. Let's see how many minutes still to play. 3 still to play at the end of this game, which is going to see Inter crowned Italian champions once again in their long and storied history. Such a famous club, second only to Juventus in terms of titles won. So many fantastic Inter teams down the years. Jose Mourinho's treble-winning side, Grande Inter of the 60s. The side at the turn of the 80s and 90s as well, with the 3 Germans. Won a record number of points back in the day when you got 2 points for a win. Where does this team sit in the pantheon of great Inter sides? I would suggest that history is still yet to be written. It's a fairly young team, and Christian Kivu is at the beginning of his managerial journey, but this has been his first full season in charge of a senior side. He's coached a number of Inter youth teams, but he looks like he's on the cusp of a great managerial career. A few elder heads in the Nerazzurri side will have to be replaced, but it looks like they have a man in charge who can bring this famous Italian club many years of success. A minute and a half left to play. Nicolosi conceding a free kick in his half as we see a replay of Fratesi's shot on goal, which almost trickled past Suzuki. There must have been about 2 meters of the ball that didn't cross over the line. He really did well there, Suzuki, because he had to turn over himself to spot where the ball was, and he did that in a split second. 92 minutes played. Jan Sommer passes it to Carlos Augusto, the Brazilian, slowly walking the ball out of defence into sense that they just need to pass this game out, and Parma look like they're going to do the same. The champagne sunglasses are already on Marcus Thuram's eyes. The celebrations are moments away. I can already see champagne popping in the crowd. Nicolosi on the ball, passing to Ndai. Ndai back to his goalkeeper, Suzuki. Suzuki back to Ndai. 20 seconds to go for the Nerazzurri, and the celebrations can begin in earnest. Nicolosi concedes possession halfway inside his own half. It's one back again. Dumfries steals in there, wins himself a free kick. And that's it. The referee chooses to end there, and every single one of the Inter players rush onto the pitch in celebrations. They are the Italian champions. The ticker tape is flowing. The fireworks are going. The sound is popping. The stadium is bouncing. The Nerazzurri are the champions of Italy for the 21st time in their history. They dance the Inter players. Ole, ole, ole. It's been a supreme season for Inter. They have been champions-elect from the beginning of the season, and not once have they looked like giving up that. What a season in charge for Christian Chivu. His first full season in charge of a senior side, and he's brought and won the title. And just think that this become even better with the Coppa Italia final to come in just 10 days' time. The colours of the Italian flag are streaming down onto the pitch in the form of the ticker tape, as the backroom staff are on the pitch as well, celebrating and clapping hands and clapping backs with the players. They go over in front of their supporters, in front of the Curva, and they dance and take the acclaim of the Nerazzurri faithful. Lautaro Martinez, yet another league title for Inter. And there it is. The trophy ceremony will happen, I'm sure, in a few moments' time. But time for me, ladies and gentlemen, to bid you a good evening. It's been my absolute pleasure to talk you through this momentous occasion as the Nerazzurri clinch the Serie A title. Champions of Italy 2025-26, Inter. Good evening, everyone.